Okay, well, the first thing on our agenda is any public comment on anything that's not on the agenda? If so, please come up.
I got a quickie.
Okay,
I wrote up something, sent it out, put a copy of everybody's place.
okay.
So I'm not going to go over it yet. Everybody knows my feelings and my concerns. I looked at this very quickly because this was a busy weekend. It sure looks like we're trying to repeat the same things that we've been doing. And when one looks at it pretty close, there's a lot of problems there. Now, I don't know whether we're going to get some working wells and get all the money and all that kind of stuff. I can't outguess that. I don't know. I doubt it, but I don't know. But the idea of this board continuing as it is, without staffing, without general management, without financial and accounting controls, is a real problem. I told you a while back that I was going to contact people on the outside. I have, and there's 2 or 3 of them out of 5 or 6 of them that is looking at the association. And one of the biggest things is that last audit, and we're still using that audit for not so now. If the audit is wrong, we're telling the government wrong stuff, and that's going to lead into more problems. So it's really time to take a look at yourself real hard, especially when you go into this new year.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Wes just mentioned repeat the same things. I thought it was interesting. It's like that old expression, learn from history or you're bound to repeat it. As I'm sure the board is aware, Mr. Campo was hired January 3rd, 1994 and resigned October 20th, 97, only 2 weeks after his failed attempt to quietly increase the LDPCSD's SOI and service area boundaries, apparently without the board direction, which resulted in an apology letter for his misrepresentation to Tuolumne County. This has been going on, obviously, for 20 years, which is really peculiar. I keep asking myself, what am I missing here? What do I not understand? Because I come to the meetings, and as Mr. Campo pointed out 20 years ago, as he has recently, there have been no formal requests for further outside MID-POU water, which makes me scratch my head and go, then why pursue it? Well, the only logical reason would be that it's quietly being requested behind the scenes and not done formally. The LAFCO service map. That was something else Mr. Campo was supposed to supply during his first employment year and was never done. It was supposed to have been done, but it never was. I'm curious as to why the 1977 MID map, which is the old one, is still displayed on our website. That is a map that was rejected by the SWRCB in favor of the revised 1978 map, which is easily available. That's the map that should be on the website. Same thing as with the 1980. Let's see, where are we here? So that's a curious thing there, because when I wanted to see what the SWRCB had as our official area of service, I gave them a call, and that afternoon I got the map. And yet we still don't have that map on our website. We have an old one that totally misrepresents the situation. So I guess that's what this rambling is about, is what is the motivation for this pursued expansion? Barring the traditional public request for the service, there's something else motivating this behind the scenes that evidently the board is unaware of, since it's not discussed publicly. I understand the board's desire to obtain more grant money for the possible repair and replacement of failing district equipment. That's an admirable goal, very admirable. But based on everything that's happened and the continued effort to expand outside MID-POU, I scratch my head and ask, what is the basis? What is the basis that you folks think the mandatory CSD customers of the Lake Don Pedro subdivision should financially support an extremely expensive special benefit for properties which our district has no legal duty to provide water? I think we're going way off the mark on that. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else? that, thank you. We'll move on. I did not prepare a president report, office report. I have nothing to report at this point in time. So with that, I'll move it over to the next presentation by our general manager, Mr. Pete Campa.
And I'll go into whatever level of detail the board finds interesting or informative, but there's a brief written report in your packet, primarily covering the activities for the month. A lot of that was still due to USDA. A lot of that was still due to USDA, and be happy to know they did confirm the bank account that they're going to deposit into. I think we've got all the paperwork ready for that. And as of Friday afternoon, it was confirmed that all of the documentation that had been requested by USDA was received by them, both electronically and in paper at all of their locations. So, and according to USDA, once the paperwork that they've requested is there and determined to be complete, then they approve the reimbursement request, and it's an electronic deposit rather than waiting for a check. So it's somewhat faster. As soon as we get it, I will let you know. Water use efficiency project, we talked about that a couple of meetings ago. I did include in your packet a copy of a press release just so you know that information is going out there to the public, and the Resource Conservation District is taking the lead in communication with people and trying to roll that out. And the next step you'll see the reimbursement program get finalized. What components are reimbursable, what home improvements, what types of things that our customers do will be reimbursable, and at what level. And we want to make sure that we don't set something at a level where this money just sits there. The RCD is trying to move out money for tree removal for dead trees, and they have grants to pay the cost for private property owners, and they can't move the money. It's just people don't do it. So this one's going to be another one when you've got full lakes. So anyway, it's going to take a little bit of effort on our part to get the information out there. Again, it'll be certainly toilet rebates for water efficiency appliances and home improvements that will get rebates through this program. We continue to see high water loss on the distribution side. I stated my continuing concern with the accuracy of the effluent meter. The effluent meter is outside of the treatment plant. It is on the line where the water comes out of the plant and goes out into the distribution system. So if you calculate all of the water that goes through that meter for a period of time, all of the water that's used by customers during that period of time, all of the water that changes in tank level storage during that period of time, because you might read it one month and the tank's at 16 feet, the next month it's at 24 feet, there's a lot of water in that distance. And basically you get as close as you can together with those readings and do that calculation, and that's what the state is asking for, is the losses in the distribution. That's why we focus on it, because it's high. And our treated water is our highest cost water. And so we definitely have to come up with a plan to address it. But looking at the numbers of what the cost is, or the lost opportunity, or the cost of that source of supply, it's just about enough to cover loan payments, even if we didn't get grants in the future. So we've got to take a look at that. We're going to try to get the grants first, but we've got to look at doing some projects to improve that.
Can we make a spot for this on the budget for this leakage? Can we do that?
Yeah, we'll have a conversation about it. Absolutely.
Seeing as how you're there, where are we at
What's that?
on the meter upgrade? So that that's part of this meter upgrades we've approved, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about the zone meters, is that what you're referencing?
I'm talking about our plan to,
Replace all the meters out in the main meters?
yeah, the system meter.
The zone meters? That was that one thing we put on the...
It's part of the Irwin grant money, and we can have that done at any point in time. The problem is, we've got meters that are currently in place where they are serviceable, and they still do make them, and they're a very, very good reputable company. And because we are only using this as an audit tool, it didn't make a lot of sense to invest $140,000 in new electronic mag meters to read that consumption and connect it to SCADA and have all of those components that cost money. You know, you've got a meter that's very expensive and it's technologically advanced. You've got the connections to the SCADA and everything else, where the existing meters have the ability to be upgraded and tested and connected to the SCADA as well. Okay, they're not and the cost is much less. The dilemma that we're having is that we've got parts have been replaced over the years of these meters, and the meter head doesn't match the meter body, doesn't match the turbine, doesn't match. So they're having a hard time getting the quote to us. So it is going to be something that we're going to do right away. The effluent meter is different. We're set up in this budget. We've got a line item for that in the budget to set the meter bulb, get that installed correctly, make sure that bulb doesn't flood, because it is a place that gets water no matter what for some reason on the property. So the effluent meter is one. The zone meters at the tanks.
I specifically was interested in this particular one is the issue today.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in budget if you don't mind.
Okay.
The other thing is the Irwin reimbursement. You may have seen it. I didn't notify you directly. I probably should have. I just put it out there for public consumption on the website and on the Facebook page about the reimbursement request number 1 for DWR. So that was our first $160,000 from that $1 million DWR Irwin grant that we got back. The difference with this one is that it's being completely handled by Cindy, myself, and the Warmerdam group in the reimbursement requests. We're getting the invoices together internally. Warmerdam is putting together the reimbursement request form and doing all the attachments. And there's money in the grant to pay for the cost associated with them doing that. But it's been easy and efficient, and as soon as I get another quarterly report in, we can submit another request. But the only costs we've had lately have been continued service line replacements by Nearage Construction. But we're about ready to go to bid. I thought we were going to do it this month on the service line replacement project, but we did get a reimbursement. That's the other things were attachments that were part of the package. You had the approval from the state for groundwater wells with some requirements for improvements that were completed after the inspection. The booster pump is in the middle of construction. That's why you don't have Randy here. It is a very intense construction period. They've got it dug up all over the place. They're hitting existing electrical that wasn't documented, controls, pipes, different things that weren't on the drawings that we're likely going to see construction change orders about, but we've got to keep going with that project. They have a 50-day construction window and need to keep going with it and get it done. And it's installing the booster out there. Filter renovations are done, look great. They did a fantastic job. And both of our staff went to intense training for the certification. They took the certification exams. Don't know if they passed. One was grade 2 and the other grade 1.